Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm continuing my journey through these special feature videos from the Blu-ray discs of Outlander Season 1. This video is going to be, as you see from the title of this video, it's going to be number 4, On Location, Castle Leoch and the Magic of Scotland. Let's take a look and see what's going on in this video.
When you say Outlander, you think Scotland immediately. When I read the books, I wanted to come to Scotland desperately.
It's an intimate show in an epic setting, but we're going to a very tumultuous time in history.
Every time we go
That was
on
the one
location,
Dougal
it's
killed
all
at-
new for
at,
me. It's a
Preston
great
Pans.
thing. I'm always like, oh my God, where are we?
If you never get to visit Scotland, at least you get to see a part of it.
You don't see CGI'd castles in the background. You see castles.
Sam said that it was a love letter to Scotland, and in fact it is.
Scotland itself is a character in the show, much as it was a character in the books, which was why it was so important to shoot it here, because this country has a particular quality to it. The light, the grass, the trees, the landscape itself is a character in the show. The weather changes constantly.
Scotland is one of those places. It's wildly beautiful, but it's remote and not thickly settled. And consequently, the history that's happened there, and a lot of bloody history has happened there, is still lying right on the surface. You walk through battlefields, standing stones.
That's one thing that I remember commenting quite a few times during the first season, during my videos, during my reaction videos, and that was the terrain and the scenery that we were seeing of Scotland and how beautiful it was. And if I was going to be traveling and going someplace, I've always thought I'd like to go see Australia. Ireland, because I have family roots in Ireland, and Scotland looks really beautiful. I have family roots in Scotland also. Not quite so deep roots there, but some family roots there. So Scotland would be one of those places that I would put on that list of places that if I were traveling and going overseas and all of that, Scotland is one of those places that I would really enjoy going to. And I have to give credit to this series for really bumping Scotland up on the list, because it's really a beautiful, at least what we see, a really beautiful area, a really beautiful country.
We're really all over the place on the show, and it makes it a very challenging production. It's hard on the crew. This is not an easy country to shoot in the wintertime. The elements are somewhat unforgiving. It's cold.
We usually spend about 2 weeks on location, which is really fantastic because then we're in these absolute sprawling vistas and really beautiful landscapes, which just give you so much as an actor.
My favorite location is Castle Leoch, which we shot at Castle Doon. It was one of the first locations we looked at, and I thought it would really be great for our purposes. It's a beautiful castle. It's really intact. I think I was told that it's the best preserved example of a castle from the Middle Ages that still exists in Europe.
Castle Leoch from the book is supposed to be not a huge castle, and this just was already kind of preserved. It had a great exterior.
For the exterior, when Claire and Frank went there originally in the first episode, we digitally made the castle into a ruin for the walk-up shot, added all the shrubbery and stuff hanging off of it, and the metal tractor was a practical one that we put out there. But
That's interesting because I actually kind of figured they did it the other way around, that it was a ruin, and then they digitally finished it off when they went back in time and made it look like it was complete, but they did it the other way around and digitally ruined it. That's interesting.
Then for the show, when she's in the 18th century, we could just present the castle as it was. The interior courtyard, the same thing. It's a historic site, so we were not allowed to put anything that would go down into the ground. So all the structures had to be literally just sitting, that you could pick them up and walk away with them.
We built all kinds of structures to create the look of what it probably was like back then, you know, blacksmith shops and all kinds of, you know, stalls for horses and people building things and working. In the exterior, we built like almost like a little encampment village that you would walk up through to get to the front gate of the castle, because that's what we're told happened back then.
Interiors were mostly built on set. The kitchen
I was just wondering
is
that if they
actually
filmed a lot in
based on the real
castle.
kitchen at Dune. It really does have a hearth that is that big, and if you go there today, you'll see a massive hearth like the one that we have in the show.
They dress it wonderfully, and we have real dead birds hanging or real pieces of meat, and it feels very genuine. Baskets of vegetables, they're all there, so you feel very immediate.
Action. It's all getting chatty.
They've worked so hard to make this absolutely genuine, and real fire and, you know, a real roasting pig. It's just fantastic.
You don't have to pretend you're in a castle, because you feel like you're in a castle.
William Talbot, being the plaintiff, present now your case for judgment before your lord.
The Great Hall takes your breath away. I don't think I've seen anybody walk in that room and not just stop in the center and just look around and take it all in. And then when they light the flames and the candelabras and the braziers and the fireplaces, you can't help to think you're in a 17th century castle.
Filled with flames of flambeaux and rear fireplaces and chandeliers, so there's candles everywhere.
Like every time I walk onto set, there's at least a split second where I feel like, but this is not a set. This is actually real.
I don't think I've ever heard her speak other than in Outlander. I didn't.
It's just wonderful for an actor to go into
Is
that
she American?
environment. You don't have
She
to
sounds like she
imagine
has
it
an
yourself.
American
It's all
accent.
there.
It was the first time we walked into the Great Hall. That was the first big set we saw.
Yeah, it just brings it alive. Just transport you into that world. The attention to the detail and the walls and the floors everywhere you look.
Gary and his team took molds of the actual Dune Castle and used those molds to create the stones inside our actual sets.
So you get, you know, an absolute replication of the castle kitchen, for instance. That's just what the walls in the castle kitchen do look like.
You can't fake Scotland. People will see it on screen and they will appreciate that the extra effort was taken.
It's been great that we're here in Scotland doing a piece about Scotland, so we can take advantage of the native population who want this all to be correct. This is their heritage.
It's just a magical country. The culture is so deeply embedded in the landscape that you really can't write about the culture without invoking the landscape.
From the get-go has just felt really special and very comfortable. We're all feeling really
Ned.
good about it.
I
'cause it's
enjoyed
just
Ned when he
continued
was
all
in.
along to feel really, really good.
That was interesting. Like I said a few minutes ago, I wondered if they actually filmed much or any inside the castle, and I don't think they said whether they did or not. But of course, most of it was filmed, if not all of it, interior-wise, was filmed on sets. And I would actually like to see those sets. You know, we saw them there, but I'd like to see the construction of them. I enjoy that kind of thing. One thing that I, if I'm remembering correctly from when I first began watching Outlander and putting these reactions on YouTube, I believe I was told that the series doesn't get much of a run or much of a play, if any, actually in Scotland. And I'm sure there are people in Scotland that watch it, but my understanding was, if I'm remembering right, that it doesn't get very much of a run of a play, that people don't know a whole lot about the series actually in Scotland. So if that's the case, that's interesting, and it would be interesting for more and more people to see it, because I think they would really enjoy it, and I would be interested in some of those opinions of people in Scotland, what they think of it. And if I'm remembering right, I think it had to do with the political atmosphere of what was going on with Brexit and Scotland wanting to pull away from the United Kingdom or whatever. I haven't really followed that, so I don't know what all those politics are. Certainly don't want to get into it on one side or the other, but I think I had been told that played a part in the fact that it was not being played in Scotland. So that was video number 4, featurette number 4, on location. And I enjoy seeing these kinds of things. And I can imagine for the actors and actresses and the crew, when they go out to these places for a couple of weeks, it's like an adventure. And I know it's a lot of work. I'm sure it's a lot of hard work, but I'm sure they have a whole lot of fun doing it too. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to be notified when I upload new content, be sure to hit that notification bell. And leave some comments down below. That'll help the channel with YouTube's algorithm. Even if it's just a single letter or a number, just leave a comment down below. Leave something down below and help the channel with YouTube's algorithm. And that will help the channel to grow. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.